Let's talk Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, it was announced last night that Bieniemy is looking to move on from the Kansas City Chiefs and wanting to be an offensive coordinator somewhere else. He actually has an offensive coordinator interview with the Washington Commanders tomorrow, Thursday. Now, this seems kind of strange because Bieniemy is a perfect candidate, it seems, to be a head coach somewhere. This has been going on for a long time. He's been the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs for 5 years during their Super Bowl run. He has actually had over 15 head coaching interviews in those years, and not one single opportunity has landed in his lap. Now, he probably feels, and I think most people feel this way as well, that Andy Reid gets all the credit for the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. And in order for Bieniemy to ever get a head coaching job, he's going to have to get out from the shadow of Andy Reid and make a name for himself. Now, the NFL is a copycat league, and with the Chiefs being so dominant offensively, owners and coaches are going to start copying them. We're going to see it just spread throughout the league. And it has quite a bit already. You're going to start seeing more RPOs and a lot more trick plays, just unorthodox offense. And even if Eric Bieniemy is not the play caller for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's not the play designer for the Kansas City Chiefs, we don't know how involved he is. But what we do know is he's there. He's seen it. He's experienced it. He is a leader in that type of offense, or he is an acolyte, an apprentice in that type of offense. Now, as far as the Buccaneers are concerned, they seem totally lost in their offensive coordinator search. They fired Byron Leftwich, and it appears they did not have a plan after that. So far, they have interviewed at least 10 people for the offensive coordinator position, and a lot of them more than once. Seattle Seahawks quarterback coach Dave Canales, Lions assistant head coach and running backs coach Scotty Montgomery, Denver Broncos passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach Clint Kubiak, Los Angeles Rams assistant head coach and tight ends coach Thomas Brown, Minnesota Vikings wide receivers coach and ex-Buccaneer wide receiver Keenan McCardell, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback coach Dan Pitcher, Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback coach Jim Bob Cooter. I just love that name. Ex-offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Monken, but he went to the Baltimore Ravens as their new offensive coordinator. Boo. New York Giants quarterback coach Shea Tierney, New Orleans Saints passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach Ronald Curry. A strange thing out of all those interviews, only one of them, Scotty Montgomery, is a running backs coach. Now, Todd Bowles made no bones about it last year that he wanted more emphasis on the running game. He's a defensive-minded coach. He wants the offense to run the ball more, so that the opposing defense gets tired out and you have more time of possession on offense. Now, Byron Leftwich was fired in large part because he was given this mandate to have more of a run-focused offense, and he failed at that miserably. Now, when you have an offensive coordinator who is an ex-quarterback, who is mentored by the quarterback whisperer, and you have the GOAT at quarterback, expect to get a lot of passing. It was a mistake to ask them to run more. I mean, it's like asking a guitarist who has Jimi Hendrix guitar to play drums. But it is what it is. Now, Eric Bieniemy was a running back in the NFL. I mean, he was basically a second stringer, didn't get a lot of starts. I think he only started one game, but he was a running back from 1991 to 1999. His last season, he played with the Eagles under Andy Reid. So he definitely has a running back mindset. He was a running back at Colorado who amassed 3,940 yards on 699 carries for a 5.6 yards per carry average. He was a running back coach at Colorado for 2 years. He was a running back coach at UCLA. He was a running back coach for the Minnesota Vikings. He was also the offensive coordinator at Colorado. And when he came to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2013, he was the running backs coach. He was a running back coach for them from 2013 to 2017. And only once in that time period were the Kansas City Chiefs not in the top 10 of running offense. And even then, they placed 15th. And then, of course, he was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs since 2018. So it seems like a perfect fit. You've got Todd Bowles, who wants to have a more run-focused offense. You've got Eric Bieniemy, who has a lot of experience with coaching running backs, being a running back himself, and he's got the new style offense that everybody's going to want, the RPOs, the trick plays, the very dynamic and unorthodox offense. But And here's the big problem. And it's, I think, a large part of why Eric Bieniemy has not gotten a head coaching position anywhere. It's his off-the-field issues. In 1998, Bieniemy was arrested and charged for a bar fight. He ended up getting charged with disorderly conduct and fighting in public. He pleaded no contest, ended up getting community service and a deferred sentence. In 1990, Bieniemy allegedly shoved a firefighter and pleaded no contest to that. The University of Colorado suspended him for a game. In 1993, he was arrested for allegedly choking a female parking lot attendant. He was banned from the University of Colorado for a full year on that one. He has a horrible record at driving. He was arrested in 2001 for DUI. And this was after previously having his license suspended numerous times. And Bieniemy was also linked to allegations that the Colorado football staff used sex and alcohol to recruit players. As a matter of fact, him and the rest of the Colorado staff were all fired and replaced. So we're into an interesting conundrum here. You've got the Glazers who are very strict about having good quality people, morally, ethically. They do not like any troublemakers. But then you've got Eric Bieniemy, who seems like the perfect fit for the offensive coordinator job at the Buccaneers, except for the off-the-field issues. Now, granted, he hasn't had any issues in quite a few years, ever since he's been with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then there's the whole issue of would he even want to come to the Buccaneers? We got maybe a lame duck coach. We don't know who our quarterback is. We're strapped salary cap-wise. The offensive side of our football team is a mess. But if Bieniemy wants to come in and prove he is a good enough coach to be a head coach, that's the perfect mess to clean up. Me personally, I would love to see him come to the Buccaneers. Wouldn't have any issues with it at all. And the Commanders and the Buccaneers are really about the only places Bieniemy can go. There are other teams out there that have opening offensive coordinator positions, not many. But he wants to go to a team that's not controlled by an offensive guru like Andy Reid. He will want a defensive-minded coach, preferably, so then his skills will be able to shine. The Washington Commanders have their own issues going on with ownership and Ron Rivera and all that good stuff. They don't know who their quarterback is either. They're a mess over there, too. So really, it's going to be up to Bieniemy whether he's going to want to choose the Buccaneers or the Commanders. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see Eric Bieniemy come here to the Buccaneers as the offensive coordinator, or do you have somebody else in mind? Now that Todd Monken is gone, that seemed to be everybody's premier guy that they wanted. I'm still rooting for Cliff Kingsbury, although I know that'll never happen. But I think Eric Bieniemy could be the guy. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Till next time, go Bucs.